The paddock is bracing for a seismic shift, and at the center of it stands Jack Miller, a proven race winner now staring down the very real possibility of losing his place on the MotoGP grid. What once looked like a safe harbor at PRAMAC Yamaha is rapidly turning into a battleground with a new generation circling. Behind the scenes, the narrative is evolving fast. While the arrival of Toprak Razgatlioglu to Yamaha's factory squad for 2027 initially suggested stability across the brand's structure, fresh reports indicate quite the opposite. Instead of protecting Miller's seat, the reshuffle may be accelerating his exit. And now, the biggest twist yet, Senna AGIUS is emerging as a serious contender to leap into MotoGP, potentially forming an all-rookie PRAMAC Yamaha lineup alongside Izan Guevara. For Miller, this isn't just pressure, it's a direct threat. Yamaha have been among the most aggressive manufacturers in the 2027 rider market. With only Razgatlioglu officially secured for that season, the Japanese marque is effectively rebuilding its entire lineup from the ground up. The expected departure of Fabio Quartararo to Honda has long been circulating within the paddock, and it appears increasingly inevitable. At the same time, Yamaha are believed to have reached an agreement with Jorge Martin, potentially cutting short his tenure with Aprilia. Within this reshuffle, Razgatlioglu is expected to step into the factory team, likely replacing Alex Rins once his contract concludes. On paper, that should have opened the door for Miller to remain at PRAMAC, but reality appears far harsher. The strongest signal yet from Yamaha is their apparent willingness to go all in on youth. Both Guevara and AGIUS, currently rivals in Moto2, are now tipped to step up together in 2027. This bold strategy aligns perfectly with the incoming regulation changes. MotoGP will undergo a major technical reset, reducing engine capacity from 1,000 cubic centimeters to 850 cubic centimeters, eliminating ride height devices and tightening aerodynamic restrictions. In such an environment, experience may become less decisive, leveling the playing field for rookies. AGIUS in particular is building a compelling case. His recent victory in the United States marked his third Moto2 win and his first point-scoring finish of the 2026 campaign, a statement performance that has not gone unnoticed. Meanwhile, Guevara's consistency places him firmly in the title conversation, just 3.5 points behind championship leader Manuel Gonzalez. For Miller, the situation is becoming increasingly precarious. Now in his 12th MotoGP season, the Australian has fought hard to remain relevant in an ever-younger grid. Yamaha offered him a lifeline with contracts covering 2025 and 2026, but those deals now look more like a temporary reprieve than a long-term commitment. Ironically, Miller's greatest strength, his experience with V4 machinery, may no longer be enough. Yamaha's strategic pivot suggests they are prioritizing future potential over proven pedigree. There is, however, a possible escape route. Should he lose his MotoGP seat, Miller is widely expected to be a prime candidate for a move to the World Superbike Championship, potentially with Ducati. It would mark a significant shift, but not necessarily the end of his top-level career. Yamaha's apparent decision to field a full rookie lineup at PRAMAC is as risky as it is intriguing. On one hand, it reflects a long-term vision, investing in young talent ahead of a new technical era. On the other, it risks sacrificing short-term competitiveness and valuable development feedback. From a sporting perspective, the move could pay dividends. Riders like AGIUS and Guevara arrive without ingrained habits, making them more adaptable to the radically different 2027 machinery. But the absence of an experienced benchmark like Miller could slow Yamaha's progress during a crucial transition phase. There is also a commercial and symbolic dimension, with the Australian Grand Prix potentially moving away from Phillip Island to Adelaide. Having an Australian rider like AGIUS on the grid could hold strategic importance for the championship. Ultimately, this is more than just a rider market story. It's a statement of intent. Yamaha are not merely reshuffling, They are rebuilding, and in doing so, they may be closing the chapter on one of MotoGP's most recognizable figures, while opening the door to its next generation. What makes this situation even more volatile is the timing. With the 2027 regulation overhaul looming, teams are no longer thinking in terms of incremental gains. They are planning for a complete reset. Yamaha's willingness to potentially sacrifice experience for adaptability signals a deeper shift in philosophy, one that could redefine their competitive identity for years to come. For Jack Miller, the challenge is no longer just about results on track, but about relevance in a rapidly evolving ecosystem. The modern MotoGP grid is increasingly shaped by youth, data adaptability, and long-term development potential. In that context, even a seasoned rider with multiple podiums can find himself edged out by a rising prospect with momentum. There is also a psychological dimension to this unfolding drama. Riders like Miller thrive on confidence and continuity, yet the constant uncertainty surrounding his future could impact performance. In contrast, emerging talents such as AGIUS are riding a wave of opportunity with nothing to lose and everything to prove. From Yamaha's perspective, aligning with youth is not just a sporting decision, it is also a branding strategy. A fresh rider lineup brings renewed energy, marketability, and the chance to build a narrative around the next generation. Pairing AGIUS with Izan Guevara would create one of the youngest and most exciting duos on the grid. However, such a move is not without risk. Rookie riders, no matter how talented, often require time to adapt to the physical and technical demands of MotoGP. The absence of a reference point like Miller could leave Yamaha vulnerable during the early stages of the 2027 season, particularly against more stable lineups at rival manufacturers. Another factor worth considering is the internal dynamic within Yamaha's structure. With Toprak Razgatlioglu expected to lead the factory effort, the satellite team's role becomes even more crucial. A rookie pairing would place additional pressure on the development pipeline, potentially forcing the factory squad to shoulder a heavier burden in terms of technical feedback. Meanwhile, the broader rider market could be reshaped by Miller's potential exit. His availability would immediately attract interest across multiple championships, not just within MotoGP. Teams value his experience, racecraft, and ability to adapt across different machinery concepts, qualities that remain highly sought after. In the context of MotoGP as a whole, this scenario highlights a growing trend: the shortening lifespan of top-level careers. Riders are being cycled in and out more rapidly than ever, as manufacturers prioritize long-term projects over established names. It's a ruthless environment where past achievements offer little protection against future uncertainty.